to be. I'm just going to run through some of the Game Informer news that's come out. Game Informer have had loads and loads of sort of exclusive access to Disney Infinity ever since they pretty much launched the game, and they've been doing, well, it was daily releases, and then they kind of get a little bit more erratic, but generally they've been having new updates all week. So we've had a few different bits and pieces from them. Have you seen them, Abe?
Yes, I have.
Yep. Okay. So
you just got to specify which one, because there's so many.
Yes. So I'm going to start first off with the animating Disney Infinity 3.0. So I'll bring up the screen for those watching the video one so we can go through. There's these ones, I think the news had kind of, we can extract a few little bits, but it's not a huge amount. There was one bit of news that I did find from this video. Basically got the animator, he's explaining how they create, and I would recommend go check out Game Informer for all this. You can see the video. And you can see some gameplay footage of like Leia on a speedster. And you can also, what was really cool, there was some footage of him playing in Luke Skywalker in a Mad Hatter's Teapot Cup ride, a sort of vehicle, which looks fantastic. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I love the sound it makes. It's like the plate, the saucer of the teacup is scratching against the floor, so you can like hear it. Like it literally sounds like it's rubbing against the surface. But I know the fact that it's spinning too, it looks awesome.
It looks like
I was really excited.
It looks like a vehicle we've not. It just looks completely different than anything we've seen before. And the best thing is, I can go on it and I don't have to feel sick, because the Mad Teapot, my wife takes me on it every time we go to Disney, because she loves the fact that I hate it. I'm there clinging on to the wheel, going, "Do not spin it," and I'm there like we spin around and you're like, and I'm just like, I hate that attraction. I'll go on Everest, I'll go on Summit Plummet, but Mad Tea Party, that's the worst one for me.
No, yeah, I'm definitely excited for that. And just the incorporation of like traditional classic Disneyland or Disney World rides in Infinity just makes it so much better, in my opinion. So
yeah,
that's cool.
There was also, looks like we've got a TomTom that you can ride as a vehicle. I mean, I think we've already seen some footage of that. You got this Jabba the Hutt. This is what keeps from. I think he's like an NPC.
That's what I'm thinking too. Yeah.
Yeah, because he can't really walk around very much. So we had a little bit more footage here, and he was explaining basically that they've got things like 20,000 different animations built into the game now because of all the previous ones.
Yeah.
But also that they can essentially, a character can be put onto the game and be given the basic default moves within 5 minutes, and then they tweak it afterwards of how they play through the game, how they walk, and add things later.
Yeah, and there was some really cool little bits and pieces of that video footage. I mean, you saw Han Solo like using a tree trunk as a rail, like he was like sliding down. Then you saw Luke on the land speeder, but you saw him driving it. And if you really pay attention, at one point when the image changes, like he's in a different part still riding it, you can see that there's a little gold guy sitting next to him. So I'm thinking, C-3PO might be a mission giver, or he might be part of a quest that you need to do, and he gets to ride with you. So that's kind of cool too. But no, overall, I mean, it was just cool. I mean, that one little small snippet that we saw in the cover release, that little trailer that they showed us, where he's talking about how cool Yoda is when he plays. This is the full clip, and it's kind of cool to see Yoda running and his ears are flopping, and no, it just makes you so excited to just play these new figures. It's awesome. I'm again excited again.
Yeah, and they also they showed off a little bit of art, and they had a few displays at a US pre E3 event. So they showed off like some concept art of Joy, and also some different stands with like models of the figures sort of standing upright. Again, you can find the video there. And this was on Shack News. They put up some footage of, because all the different sort of game media could therefore see all the different colors. It's kind of was very similar to what we'd seen like the first or second video about designing the characters, but we actually they got to see them in person, kind of thing. Okay. Anything you want to add on that one before we go on to the next one?
I remember they had that awesome wall that JV was periscoping with
Yes.
every single figure that ever existed. Yeah, it would have been cool to see that. Hopefully they bring that wall over to E3 and maybe I can get some close-ups for everybody. So.
And yeah, the way I look at that is, the minute I saw that, it's like, that looks like that is a set that they can use on a number of different events because it looks really cool. That to me was not a one-time deal. That looks like that something they could use a lot. Okay, and there was another story at the same time from Game Informer. Mr. JV. And he had an interview where he was talking about sort of Disney Interactive, talking about how Disney Interactive aren't just about Infinity. They make lots of other games like Club Penguin, Where's My Water, Star Wars Commander, TV shows like The Muppets. They even made Vinylmation Blanca Love Story, which was an animated TV thing that they did.
I actually did see that, yeah.
Yes.
I actually did see that.
They continue to say that like Disney Infinity is their main console that they're looking at. They are looking at maybe trying to bring Legacy and other products, such as, I think, they're looking into the back catalog of what's really popular. I mean, it's like DuckTales and stuff. They re-released them on iPad, and they were on the PS3, and now they kind of disappeared. And I think they're still looking at if they can do things like that. They were just talking about in general about how excited they were about getting Star Wars in. When Disney brought Star Wars, they were straight on it. They were straight onto it. And while they were talking about like the Clone Wars and classics, and he also reconfirmed that Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars will be involved in future versions of sort of the game, which I think is really important.
I think what this whole video invokes is like his passion for the game. I think that's something that people take for granted. I mean, and it shows you that there's so many other things that we're always constantly demanding and asking to get put into the game, but there are even things that he wants into the game and that he still needs to fight and battle for. Obviously, we recently got a tweet about him finally getting the go-ahead for Captain EO, but obviously he's still fighting for Darkwing Duck, which he made a point to mention in that video. Mm-hmm. So. Just it's cool to see that he's going to bat not only for, what we want, but what he wants in the game as well.
Yeah, I mean,
you can see in that video.
Yeah, I mean, on the recent Toybox TV, they were talking about how I think it was him and Sully were working. They were working on the Tron video game, and they've constantly been pushing Tron forward because that's their passion. Other bits from that interview with JV that was pretty cool. This was a bit more sort of toy boxy thing. There is a new toy which streams Radio Disney straight into the toy box, which is kind of interesting because I'm going to be honest, we don't have Radio Disney over here, and if I try to go to the Radio Disney website, it takes you straight back to disney.co.uk. So I'm hoping that it works and they haven't, because I've just got this really bad feeling that their web browsers or whatever it is going to do what I'm really hoping it works for us. That's me personally, from the point of view that Disney sometimes have a very bad problem with restricting access if you're not in the right country with auto things. But that's me maybe worrying about something that might not even be an issue. But do you listen to Radio Disney?
No. I haven't listened to Radio Disney since, I think honestly middle school. That was the last time. Yeah,
I actually didn't even know about Radio Disney until about 2 years ago when there was a Vinylmation released for it. I'm like, well, what's a Radio Disney Award? It's like I had to actually look it up because if it's not in our country, you weren't aware of it. I know last time we were in Florida a few years ago, I did remember seeing it. I think I was more aware of that there was a Radio Disney, so I saw the logos and stuff. But I'm guessing it's kind of quite a young channel.
I think my generation will agree that the Disney Channel TV and also the Radio Disney, they were awesome back in the day. Right now they're but I don't know. For you younger fans, sorry, but the shows we used to have are awesome, and the music.
Yeah, we'll be a follow. I was like, in my day. TV was better.
Impossible was around.
In my day,
Even Steven's a hard TV show.
I remember DuckTales. Okay, so he also
Before Shia LaBeouf was Indiana Jones' son, he used to be in a show called Even Stevens. Yeah.
in my day we only had 17 TV channels.
Okay, I'm not about your time frame, buddy. Okay.
I remember when I only had 3 TV channels. That's how bad it was. We have a new vehicle, which is a cruise line ship, which you can ride on, which kind of ties in. I'm sure that's going to be one of the.
We're only seeing like the screen's only showing deja vu of me, like
Deja vu.
yeah, like it's like me 5 times. There you go.
We got the window. There we go. Let's try that again. Better.
Wait, hold on. It'll take a second because
yeah.
There you go. There she is.
Go.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so we got a cruise ship. So I'm guessing that's going to be that a cruise line exclusive power disc.
But see, he sort of talked about it like it's content, like everybody's gonna be able to try it out. I don't think this might be the actual exclusive content. Is it? If it is, then it's a bummer. But yeah. They
also talked about how the park team work with Disney Interactive. Now that's pretty much been this from day one because they worked with them on the Dragon Sky for the Fantasyland opening. They had last year they had the It's a Small World attraction in there built in with the Magic Bands because it was a big anniversary for that. I think a lot of us are guessing that there might be some kind of Disneyland 60th anniversary kind of item in this year's game.
Yeah.
John discussed why there was no Frozen playset. And I think it's just, again, they didn't have access to it and it was a brand new property. So it was, and they'd already got enough there.
They were also full force into the game. Like they were ready to launch, and the movie wasn't even out yet.
No. Yeah. They also were talking about the Mulan was completely a fan request. You know, some of the characters they literally just listened to what the people are asking for, and Mulan was a direct response of a fan request that they hadn't even thought about bringing out. She wasn't even on their radar until people started asking for it. And Darkwing Duck is also a character that has been constantly asked for. This was also the video where he did actually say the words, "His bench is deep, bro." And I will admit, not being an American sports fan, I did actually have to ask what that actually meant to begin with because it completely went over my head because I was like, a bench? What? I didn't. It wasn't until I was like, literally, what are you guys all? There's this big joke running around, and I'm like, going, I completely didn't understand it at all. I'm like, a bench? Well, why? What's this bench? Everyone's going on about. It's like, oh, it's American football with substitutions. Okay, right. It's like, now I get it. And they also talked about how Trongate was really in terms of like the Tron characters where they did it as a digital option. They thought that was a cool idea. It was a digital only. It made sense to them. But the fan requests pretty much said that they had to bring them in for 3.0, and that is a direct response to people's reactions by the looks of it.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I think it's that kind of thing. I think it's great that they, by listening to the fans, they are going to get in general, they're going to get what they want. I mean, there's always going to be somebody asking for a character that it doesn't make any sense financially. It always makes more sense to Disney to, I know a lot of people are asking for, lots of different classic stuff, but, the idea of making a Robin Hood play set, sounds great for us that own Robin Hood, but, it's a 30, 40-year-old movie that has been on TV and stuff, but they, Inside Out is in theaters now. It's got all the merchandise. Kids are wanting it now, and they're into that. The old stuff, they haven't really gone into very much because I can see why they don't want to do it. They put in the little nods with little toys and sky domes and etc. But to come up with coming out with a classic play set about something that doesn't even in the shops or there's no merchandise around is going to be a tough sell for Disney.
Yeah, you know what? I think JV kind of got into it in that video as well about how, because of the starter, how we have, the Clone War prequel stuff there. I mean, the old school trilogy, we got that as a playset for the mom and dad, as he put. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It makes sense. You got to go with what's current, what's going for the key demographic of the game. Regardless of whether it says we're too old to play it, we still play it. But unfortunately, they're going to aim for the little kids, for all us older fans. But honestly, fortunately, they are staying current with the kids. So
Well, that was.
it's a win-win for everybody, I think.
I mean, that was something else that has been brought up this week. Was that their key demographic is sort of 6 to 12-year-olds, and boys and girls and their families, and I think specifically, like, for us, as sort of adults playing it, we require something different from it than the sort of kids, but also we may be more, we are vocal about it differently than maybe sort of the people that just pick up the game, play it, and just the casual player. So I think this is the thing with sometimes the voice. I think I saw a comment saying 10% of people are adults without kids that play it, that fall into our category. When you then look at the other 90%, that is where the money is. We're just we're just a small part of that community. And I think sometimes people, specifically on the online community, can kind of easily get caught up in that thing of that's what everyone's saying, but it's not the majority. When you look on like the official Twitter or Facebook or forum, there's a very different feel to it because they're generally sort of younger fans and etc. So I think that's a key thing to remember with Disney Infinity is it's a mass audience, not just a small little demographic.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, when we're passionate about something that we want, ultimately the whole world wants it in our eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everybody's going to say stuff like that.
Yeah.
But no, it's again, it's a cool direction they're taking. So
okay, so let's move on to our next subject. Okay, so now this was a little bit of an update this week that came through from Best Buy. So let's kick off. There's a little bit of information and a little bit of it was one of those really bit of weird news. News broke that Best Buy put up a picture, or put up on their website, that Disney Infinity 3.0 was coming with 8 play sets, 4 Star Wars, 2 Marvel, and 2 Disney. And we were a bit like, that sounds amazing, but we were both discussing at that time, going, something didn't quite feel right, because as you said before, Best Buy haven't sometimes got the best reaction to sort of their website. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, going from not only a consumer who has shopped there a lot, but also who used to work for them, their ads online and print are not always accurate. So you can't just because a major retailer puts it up, you can't really assume that they're correct. And just on top, and just to add to that, I just decided to pull up the site right now as we're talking about it, and it looks like they completely did away with explaining what the playsets that are going to come. It only is just talking about the one that comes with the starter pack. So it's a completely different lingo now. So as we can see, that was a typo. So.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing of, I think we need, it's, this is why we're bringing it up, is the fact that it was on a major retailer, but it was very quickly disputed by Disney that was a thing. Whether or not we see that, and that, it's really 8 play sets sounds a lot. Our initial reactions was that including the Toy Box expansion playset pieces. That could have been a mistake there, because that they've announced 7 that way, and who knows, will we get an extra playset? You don't know. They're still kind of, as much as they've given us some information, they haven't given us everything. But we just thought we'd just kind of briefly touch on the Best Buy thing, that as far as we have been told by Disney, that isn't correct. And the fact that if they've removed it from Best Buy's website, that pretty much states that information shouldn't be out there or isn't even correct. So that's the kind of thing with that. And we kind of definitely wanted to just briefly touch on that one.
Actually, if I may add, if you guys run into anything like this in the future, especially if it's something that's that's countering any information that's been given out already by JV or Disney. Don't be afraid to shoot us an email or information, because we have the ability to try and to clarify. I mean, you can call corporate Best Buy if you want, but we are able to actually get information. Not all the good stuff, I wish, but at least some clarification on like stuff like that. So if you ever find anything like that and you would like questions answered, give us a tweet or an email.
And also there is other issues kind of slightly rolling out. Some people are faking JV's tweets and putting out images. Yeah. This is kind of like, what? So there's been a couple running around. JV usually, if he's given a heads up, he will kind of dispute them and say it's a fake. I think there was one about Gravity Falls and Darkwing Duck. So it's kind of something that's running around. So if you see it on his Twitter feed, you know it's real. But if you see an image of it, sometimes we've never had this problem before. Suddenly it's like, it is a bit odd that people are sort of faking a Twitter status to try and drum up a bit of a laugh, I suspect.
Yeah, it's just like Roger said. The only way to see if something's legit is look at JV's Twitter feed. That's the legit place. If you see somebody else post it, oh, not real.
Yeah. Also, so I think we'll just kind of quickly touch on the next subject.